sometimes we might overlook small little thing that adults or people who have already have the knowledge, and when they see other people doing simple thing, they will say, why should we do that? Oh, why should we teach people how to bow down? We should teach people how to meditate. We should teach the Dhamma. And why this and why that? Now, it's very important. We call it the foundations of the mind, because we human beings, we have what we call mana titi, this self-identity. When we are small, it's easy to teach. It's easy to impart and tell them what to do. And you see, they are so obliging. It doesn't go against you. They just, you tell me what to do, I will do. Because why? Because in their mind, there's not so much discrimination thoughts, no distortion. They don't have their own ideas about how things should be done. So they just follow. And you find that, they are very sweet, they're very dear. Even your own son, your own daughter, when they are still too small to have their own ideas, and they still cannot decide things, they will follow everything where the papa and the mama will tell them. They will follow everything. But the more they grow older, the more the papa and the mama will say that, man, want to give them a tight slap. Right? Why so rebellious? Why this and why that? Now, if you have that kind of mentality, you should change. Right? Because why? We cannot force things onto a person. People won't like it. And a lot of these small kids, they go to temple, they go to churches, they go to these religious places. But when they grow older, they don't go anymore. They will go with their friends for outing, go to the beaches, go to a shopping center, go hang out somewhere out there. And then the parents got so frustrated that, there should be this and there should be that. And you mean good because you've been through life, right? The parents have been through life. But this kid, they are just growing up. They're excited about things they doesn't know yet. So they also have the same thing like what we are like last time. We also the same thing where our mom tell us, we will say yes, or inside our house, say, shut up lah, talk so much. Same thing. So when we experience this kind of thing, we should also understand that, okay, so long our children behave in line. They doesn't break the law. They doesn't behave immorally. They know how to take care of themselves. They don't cause trouble to themselves and to the parents or to society. Leave it as it is. Let the way they want to live, let them live their own life. Then you won't have problem. You won't have conflict with them. Because if we start to control too much, then you see a lot of people ended up in misery. Especially we saw a lot of family, they end up in misery. Because why? They try to make things happen, or they want things to be the way they want it to be. Same thing like meditations. When we sit and meditate, you don't every day have a good session, right? Some day good, some day no good, until you're expert. So this is life, this is training. The same thing with our mind. When our mind is not trained, and we read certain books, we gain certain knowledge about how we should train the mind and how our mind should be concentrated, pity this and that. And we say, my mind must be like that. I also must push for it. And you push, your mind don't calm down. You get frustrated. Why this and why that? No, that shouldn't be the case. You gradually do it. The same thing like training your own child. Same thing with our own mind. They are interconnected. Remember, our mind and the way we live, they are interconnected. This is how it's going to affect you in your life. Of a person who can live a happy lifestyle, or can live a not so happy or miserable lifestyle, even though they are loaded with a lot of money. So what? But they are not happy. Every day complaining, even though you don't say it out through your mouth, but your heart is very dry. Your mind is very dry. You're always crying inside there, bleeding. Your heart is bleeding. That shouldn't be the case. That means you have we use the word, control your mind. So long we're within what the Buddha said in a moral way, within the 5 precepts, it's okay. It's okay. Remember the precept. That's all. Dana, we don't talk about dana. Everybody know to do it. Precept. And then with your precept, then it's easy for you to calm down your mind. And again, not all people would like to hold precept or even meditate. Some people just, I want only dana. You leave them alone. They let them do dana. Don't force people to observe the precept if they are not ready. And some people, no dana, but want to do precept, whole precept. Let it be. And some just want to meditate. But if you don't have the precept, it's hard to meditate. But a lot of people say, I just go for meditation. Then the meditation can never progress, right? When you start to develop the mind can't calm down. There's a lot of distorting issue up there. Then we got to come and check with our precept again. This is why we have all these training rules for us to counter check why. What has happened to our life? Why like that? Why we are not happy? Why? Because of what? Craving. Okay, how to control my craving? How to meditate in order to control this craving? So all these are interrelated. It's very, very important because in this modern world, we are so easily access to all kinds of knowledge. One press away, we read, easy, I can do. But you can't do. Easy to understand, but very hard to accept. A lot of people in the elementary level, I know. When something really happened to their life, they can't accept it. They say that, my heart can't take it. I feel so painful inside there. Why? You say you know what? Now, how come you know the knowledge that you know doesn't tally with what already happened and you still feel hurt, feel not happy? That means you should meditate to investigate more. Why? That means your mind is not strong enough. Your mind doesn't have what? Piti, don't have the samadhi to cushion off this kind of issue. If your mind have the power of samadhi, it can cushion. You have the piti to cushion in certain level of your problems. It may not be eradicated. You still have the grit, but you can still under your control. And you can slowly do away with it. With what? Contemplations of the Dhamma. This is very important. A lot of people, they practice it. How come I know? No. And then my mind cannot accept it. Why? Why? W-X, Y, Y. So you must know, because I lack of what? Contemplation of the Dhamma. That means keep reminding yourself, contemplation on the opposite side of what you are longing for. You contemplate in terms of anicca. That means the impermanence of life. Dukkha, the suffering that you will follow. And anatta, there's no self. But a lot of people, we can't. You just do it gradually. Dhamma trainings, meditation training is something like a small child. The child cannot walk or cannot just behave properly in one day. It takes years and years and years of practice, years and years and years of training. Then you can be a grown-up person, like the mind, mature enough. So remember, we come to a place of worship, we come to the monastery to support. And of course, it's our duty to remind people about how to handle your own life, your own mind state. And this is very important. And we cannot say that, this fellow I like, this fellow I don't like. No, we are the same person. We're the same human being. We have feeling, we have this body, we have feeling, we have memory, we have perceptions, we have concept thinking, analytic mind, side of the mind. And with this consciousness, everybody is the same, right? What you feel, how I feel. You feel happy, I feel happy. You feel sick, I feel sick. Same thing. You hungry, I also hungry. So you must, it's just that you have the precept and something is different. You are in the upper hand in everything you do. Because why? You practice self-restraint. And even better if you practice meditation, then your mind will be under your control. Instead of letting this craving controlling us without boundary, we control our craving within the boundary of 5 precepts. Then we can still stay happily, no problem. Who say that, we cannot listen to music? 5 precepts. The Buddha never said wrong. Go ahead, enjoy your life. But within the 5 precepts. And this is for the lay people. So you must be clear of your status, of who you are. Then you won't contradict yourself. Some people, they contradict. They try to become a monk. They try to behave like a monk's lifestyle, but they are lay people. And in the end, they have quarrel at home. Then they stay temple. They cannot stay temple because they don't want to become a monk. They say they contradict. A lot of people, they contradict. It's happening everywhere. So that's why I always say tortoise head training, tortoise head. Bhavana ho ta wai. After one, one don't like that. Full swing, one means one, don't want this. Okay, never mind. I live like a lay people. Practice like a lay people. Full swing. The Buddha never said you cannot penetrate to the higher level. You may, but it's harder because a lot of responsibility you got to fulfill. And for monks, it's easier, but it's a double-sided sword. If you don't practice properly, we will hurt ourselves, right? Because why? We're taking people's food. We're using people's things. Everything is other people. So there's something we call it depth, D-E-B-T, inside there. Don't think so. Oh, the yellow rope is above the law of karma. Not true. It's within the law of karma. Nothing is free. So we behave ourselves. The lay people do the duty of the lay. The monk practice the duty of the monk, and we can share the knowledge and move along. This is how we can build Buddhism, that the Buddha's teaching can flourish, and it gives people the leeway to practice. When those people who are interested in the practice, they can come and practice. And that'll be the sharing for today. You see, we're talking about the weather is hot. But the weather is hot, you just come into the aircon room, straight away, you can quench away, do away the heat and your feelings about the heatiness straight away gone. Because why? Aircon is only the bodily heat get heated up, that's all. And of course, when the bodily get heated up, people feel unpleasant. People get agitated because they sweat. And the heat that really burn into your skin. It causes pain to your skin. And people doesn't like heat. But you only like heat when where? Cold season. You love the heat. You say, how come no sun today? You see, and likewise, the heat of the sun or the heat of the weather is just a heat in only the physical level. We're talking about the heat of the heart. For example, you get angry, you get agitated, you're longing for something and you don't get it, you got so angry, waiting for your friend never turns up, your friend always breaks his promise, and you got so angry. The heat is worse than the weather. Because this heat, even you go to the aircon room, it doesn't solve the problem. You got so angry all the time, you don't know what are you angry at. Because why? You think so much. You got so angry because you think so much. Because the sankhara, the evaluations of the thoughts, is a kind of energy. It generates energy when you think. And this energy is generated in the wrong way. Wrong thoughts or wrong trails of thoughts. Why we say trails of thought? If you think in the way of anger or how bad this person did and how nasty, and the more you think, the more you will get heated up of an individual that you disagree or you don't like. And this heat, this kind of thought is worse than the weather. You can't diffuse it by aircon. No way. Even you put ice into your heart, but your mind just spins with this kind of thought, unwholesome thought. And it's a form of mental torturing. Now, this mental torturing comes from where? You yourself generate it. So don't blame other people. That's why there's always an emphasis of the importance of developing samadhi, concentration, practice. A lot of people will say that, we have mindfulness, will do. No, not enough. If you have mindfulness, you know. You can only know, a knowledge, aware of what's happening. But your mind will be affected by the emotions that is spinning in your mind. And you really feel the heat. You feel the pain, the downers of your mind. But on the other hand, if you were to exercise your mind, put your mind in samadhi, like what we are always encouraging people to chant, putto, anapanasati, just mindfulness of the breath, or itipiso bhagawa. Just keep doing it. And the mind will enter a state of calmness. And the mind will regain a state of firmness, concentrated mind. The battery that is fully charged mentally. When your mind is mentally charged, it's full of piti, rapture, the happiness of the mind, the power of the mind is very powerful. It will, we use the word cast away or fence off whatever unwholesome thinking that's triggering your mind that will develop into a form of emotion feeling. You'll be fence off straight away, because what, you have the power of concentration. And because you're mindful and with the power of concentration, the thought arises, it cannot take form and spin forward. It just arises and pop. The minute you are aware on it, the thought disappears, because why? The power of your concentration. So you can see from here the contrast. When your mind is concentrated, why it's so powerful, why it's so calm, right? Can think properly, and you're not fearful of anything at all, and you're not so easily agitated when you are not meditating, when you're at work. Why? Have you ever make a comparison? Start to make the comparison when you go to work and see how your mind get dissipated, how your mental energy get dragged out, because you didn't maintain your mindfulness or put hold or the object of your focus. If you were to always be mindful and have intact with your object of focus, you don't worry. You will develop concentration in no time to come, and you yourself will be the witness of the power of concentration yourself, without doubts, without having to ask people. No, you will know. Because the sankhara, we call it the kilesa, that comes in our mind, is always very energy dissipating. It sucks out your mental energy. It sucks, right? And it makes you very tired, very distorted, lack of energy, like you're so tired. You don't know why you're so tired mentally. And you always indulge in that. Let yourself dwell in a state of mind of what called dullness. And it's very unwholesome. No, not a good state to be inside there. So how? Do repeat the word puto, fast until your mind gain the energy. You will know, because the fullness of a heart here, the heart base, very powerful, very strong, very, very, very nice. You just focus here, you can feel the vibrating sensation on the heart base here, the center of the heart of chest. You can feel it. And you can go whole day, no problem. You feel tired, close your eyes, just go there, bang, charge it. 50 minutes, you are charged. That's the base where we can tap and gain our energy from there. Mental energy tapping, we see. I mean, if you want to put it into a scientific term, well, that's one of the things you can say. It's not wrong, but you got to develop the skill. It takes practice, years and years of practice. Not like what you're hearing now. I'm telling you that's so easy, 15 minutes. No, it takes many years before you can conclude that, yeah, we have mastered it, and we take only 15 minutes. For people who know, it's easy. For people who don't know, it's just like a blinded person, started, or a small baby starting to crawl, to how to walk, because the strength, the leg got no strength, the hand got no strength, start to stand up and fall, stand and fall. But of course, because of the persistent effort, you're able to do it in the end. You walk like an adult. When there's a sun, you can run into the shade. When there's rain, you can go under cover. And this whole thing will develop gradually. This is called the maturity of both, internally, or spiritual maturity, in no time to come. And that will be the sharing for today. You see, that a lot of people, they have this kind of misconceptions that, we just do a lot of goodness, and the goodness will offset those bad things we do. They have this kind of wrong concept that if they do good thing, then the bad thing will be put away, put aside. No, the bad thing is still there. What you do good, your mind state is in the state of goodness, right? When we do good, we treat people nicely, we practice generosity, and we feel good at that moment only, at this moment. And when we're listening to a talk attentively, then our mind is not messed up with all this unwholesome thought. But once we are out of place, how to maintain this kind of mind state, this is more important. That's why the mindfulness comes in. Now, of course, because our mind has this kind of so-called habitual thinking, we keep thinking of the past, speculating about the future, and this is without control. We know, our mind is very chaotic, a lot of spinning thought, a lot of conversation up there, a lot of congested traffic of thoughts. So what can we do? Right? We're not going to stop the thought, but we can be mindful of the thoughts. When we talk about mindfulness, that means we are aware, we are mindful that, kind of mind state is wholesome or unwholesome. Sometimes the unwholesome mind state is so strong, we've been dragged and to commit or to say something. And because why? We human being is born with greed, hatred, and delusion within our own mind. If not, we won't be born. So if we are born, so how are we going to cope up with this kind of mind state? That's why we need the precept. See, the training rules is the precept. The restraint of actions of not killing, not stealing, no sexual misconduct, no telling lies, no alcohol. Why? Because so that your mind won't be indulgent in this kind of action, and that will cause us misery in our later stage of our life. So when we start to practice the restraint, it's a form of tug of war. Because why? We have been so get used to this kind of lifestyle. So we got to put in a lot of effort, a lot of mindfulness or effort to tell ourselves, okay, no to this thought. Because why? It started with the thoughts, with the notion of the thought. And the thought arises, we will comply to the thinking, to the thoughts. And this is how we commit a lot of wholesome and unwholesome action in our life or speech. So we got to be mindful. Of course, this mindfulness, because it's so strong, this spinning of the thought is so strong, we need to have a object to anchor our mind. That's why we recommend that we chant the word or repeat the word putto, or just tell ourselves knowing. Why? Because you need to anchor yourself to one object until the mind comes to a state of calmness. When your mind has come to a state of calmness, then you can see the contrast between a calm mind and an uncalm mind state. But a calm mind state is something like the sea in Corail, very calm, no wave, no rugged weather, so it's very calm, very nice. And uncalm mind, there's a lot of thought traffic, a lot of thinking going on, just as wave swinging left and right. See the boat keep rocking. And if our boat is not tied to a string, that means your mindfulness is not enforced. Then you'll be dragged away by the wave. You'll be dragged away by the wave of the thoughts. It will drag you away. And this is why human beings suffer. How we commit unwholesome thing in our life. This is the way we put a stop or put a break of restraint in our mind. And it takes time, a lot of effort. I use the word a lot of effort. It's not a one-day job or reading books. No, it's something that we got to put in the effort in sitting meditation, doing chanting, a lot of restraint in your daily life activities by applying mindfulness. We repeat the word putto. Just stay with the word putto. Don't stay with the thought. Don't stay with thinking, because it's too much. We can't handle them at this present. So we stay putto until the mind have a foothold ready. Then we can see, okay, you can differentiate. Wow, this is something different. Right? You have putto, and the mind with putto means the knowing, the awareness is strong. Sometimes we say we know, but how come we got no control? A lot of people, they know everything about no self-control, right? Because, right, there's no mindfulness. The power of mindfulness is weak. The power of concentration is weak. And this is what happened. So we got to try, right? Keep trying. Even, we take more than 20 to 30 years, and we are still, of course, we can control already, but still we are refining the thing. You see, every time you lack of this mindfulness, you see your mind become rough straight away. More and more confidence will arise as we go along the practice, and more knowledge will arise, insight will arise when we see the progress in our meditation will take place, and it will take off. It will give us a lot of confidence and trust in the practice, and it will bring us true peace and happiness in our life, right? And that will be the sharing for today. If you are meditating correctly, the minute you focus on the object of meditations, you'll find that your mind will absorb into your object like a suction pump, like a vacuum pump sucking. You can find yourself, this mind just zooming like that, and stay with the object very, very firmly without having you to force it or to like tug of war. No more. And that shows that you are doing correctly. And you find the more you focus at it, the more relaxed you become. The more your body, you start to detect any part of the body that is tensions, and you will relax by yourself naturally without you having to force it or make it happen. It happens naturally. And that's why we say the meditations, this mind of ours is very powerful. And you can manage itself naturally. That is a very, very constructive and healthy for your body and the mind. If you're doing correctly, I use the word doing correctly. And for those people who hasn't developed a skill for how to attain this object of the meditation, then you got to put in more effort, because it's just like a shelter place, a refuge for your heart. The minute you just focus on this, there you are. You just enter it. You're just zooming in very fast. You can gain a lot of strength, a lot of rest from this kind of meditations. That's why we find it very, very beneficial that we want to encourage people to practice more. And especially when we are Buddhist monks, we should be even more expert. Be it at work, be it do anything, the minute you are resting, sitting, or even sometimes you're working, you can still exercise within. Your mind is still exercising within yourself. You can still focus on the body, spreading of the breath or the sensation of the body, even though we are working. You might find strange. Some people, I cannot be. That's for people who don't know how to practice, don't know how to make use of the internal strength or how to gain the energy within yourself. This is something what we call the insight. This is something what we call you must know how to develop it, how to make it into use when you need to use them. And this is very important. Sometimes you may see the body is very hectic, snoring, but your mind is very alert inside. Because you are in full rest, you just let go everything. Bam! And there's a detachment of body and mind. And the mind just go rest. This sankhara just rest, everything rests. The body just behave, it behaves naturally without supposition terms to say, should be this, should be that. No. And of course, the mind is fully equipped with this mental energy. When you have developed it, then you can find for yourself that, it's really, really good. That you want to practice more, and you want to encourage more people to practice if they are interested. And that's why you see why so many teachers of the past, especially our Lord Buddha, are being able to handle so many kinds of matters, dealing with human beings, dealing with divine beings, unseen beings, and all kinds of beings in different realms. You see how powerful the mind is. It can travel through so many kinds of existence without any obstacle at all. It's a trained mind. We're just talking about mind, like our human mind, and it's very basic. We can't even calm it down. It's like monkey hopping up and down, can't even still at your own will. So this is something we must develop, and this is something that you can bring along. If you haven't attained Nibbana, this is something that you have developed, and where you reach which stage, you will stop at there. If you never improve, you don't worry. Even you die, you know that you have at a stage. You continue, you come back. You need to continue. And it's easy when you have reached certain stage and you just someone remind you, bam, you are there straight away. And this is for your information. It's not something that everybody will have the same experience with something shared. This is called Dhamma sharing. The purpose of this kind of Dhamma sharing is to give you the encouragement that there's always this possibility of attain what the Buddha say, the happiness of the mind. That'll be the sharing for today. Okay, today is Australia Day. And remember, because we human beings can survive because of the breath. Our life has meaning because of this breath. And when there's no breath, life ends. No matter how successful, no matter how rich or how poor, in this world of existence, human beings especially, the most important thing in your life is your own breath. Because so what? If there's no breath, that's the end of the day. That's the end of your life. But people at large, they doesn't look after their own breath. They don't care about their own breath. Why? Because we are so overindulgent in external activities that we neglected our own mental health, our own mind. And that's why we have all these problems of mankind all this while. We have been engineered or been motivated by great hatred and delusions all this while. And thus created all this unwholesome action, and we committed all these things, and it caused us a lot of regret and pain. So when we talk about looking after the breath, watch our breath, a lot of people, what for we want to watch the breath? We already have the breath, right? Yeah, you have the breath, but you never be mindful of your own breath. You only be interested with external thing, other thing. You neglected your own breath. Because why? Our mind, when it's overindulgent in thinking, our mind will be in the state of chaotic mind state. That means a lot of thinking, a lot of thoughts that's occupying. And when the person is overthinking, we call it by mental breakdown. We call depressions. We call mental sickness, all kinds of expression, all kinds of labeling. You can label for this kind of mind state. And it is caused by what? Thinking, by thoughts, overwhelming thoughts, non-stop thinking. And how to put a stop, a solution to this kind of problem is to be mindful of your own breath. Because being mindful of your own breath, when you're mindful of your own breathings, the mindfulness will grow. And because of your mindfulness having the power to take charge, in no time to come, all this thought, distorting thought, will be subsided, and thus your mind will enter a state of calmness. And this calmness is what we really need. Because why? We never rest. Our mind keep thinking. And if you're thinking of wholesome thing, of course, it bring you peace and happiness. If you're thinking of unwholesome, you think of something very angry, a lot of hatred, a lot of jealousy, a lot of unwholesome thinking. And what will happen? You'll be mentally, emotionally affected, and thus causing you mental pain. And this is why a lot of people suffered in their life, even though they have possessed all the materiality externally, but internally they suffered. They suffered because they don't know how to handle their own mind state. And this is why it's so important to be able to develop a skill in how to calm your mind down. That's why we call mindfulness of breathing. Be mindful of your own breathing. Take care of your breathing. Have contact with your breathing. Have some interest. But nowadays we are so interested with what is inside the handphone, inside the smartphone, and spend so much time externally. And our own mental energy has been sucked up. I use the word sucked up, or been extracted, dragged away by this kind of content that is inside the handphone. And that's why we are so, you look interesting, look very fulfilling, but our mind is not happy at all. It's not happy at all, our mind. Very sad, always wanting this, hoping for that. Why not so happy? Got everything not happy. Why? This is the problem, right? Happiness must be found within your own mind. If you have a calm mind, then you have a happy mind. You do it and see for yourself. And that will be the sharing for today. รับพรเนาะ ยะถาวริวหาปุราปริภุเรนติสาคารังเอวะเมวะนิโทตินาเพตานังอุปกปปติอิจิตาปฏิตาตุมหะคิปะเมวะสมิจตุสัพเพปุเรนตุสังคปปาจันโทปนาราโสยะถามณิโชติราโสยะถาติโยวิวัจจันตุสัพพะโรโควินาศตุมาเตภวะวันตารายโสุขิติกายุโกภวะมิวะธนาสิเลสนิจจังพุทธปัจจายโนจัตตารโอธรรมวัฏฏันติอายุวันโนสุขังอลายะสมิปะเดเสกะเปเตวะสัพพะริตจัตติโยศีลาวะเดตะโมเจตวะสัญญาเตบรหมจาริโนยะดาตาเดวตาสุนตาสาดากินามาเดเส ตาปุจิตาปุจายันติมาริตามานายตินังตาโตนังอนุกัมปันติมาตาพุทธาวราสังเทวตานุกัมปิโตโกโสสัตตบารานิปัสสติภวตุสาพมังคลังราคะโดสาบเดวตาสัพพพุทธานุภาเวนะสดาโสติภวันตุเตภวตุสาพมังคลังราคะโดสาบเดวตาสัพพธัมมานุภาเวนะสดาโสติภวันตุเตภวตุสาพมังคลังราคะโดสาบเดวตาสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนะสดาโสติภวันตุเต